The promo grind is on at Maryland Live. I'm so excited. I can't hold the camera steady. Oh my goodness. For real? For real? Feeling like some 1-3 today, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. The list was very short when I left. I'm gonna head down and put myself on it, and hopefully the wait won't be too long. So in this session, I decided to play some 1-3, and I've seen a lot of comments actually come in over the last maybe month or two saying, "Oh Matt, like, I can't believe you're back at 1-2 and 1-3, like, thought you said you'd never play those again," or you know, I thought you were only a 2-5 player. But the truth is, I jump around stakes all the time, and it's not necessarily because of like the buy-in, and it's not even necessarily because I don't think I can win at 2-5. A lot of times it has to do with my mentality, and I don't really like nailing myself down to one stake limit. I don't think it's really necessary. I'm rolled to be playing 2-5, but sometimes I just want to play 1-3. Sometimes I just want to play 1-2. And frankly, the last time I played 2-5, the game wasn't even that great. So I did end up winning last session, but it doesn't mean that I think I'm necessarily going to make more money in the 2-5 game than the 1-3 game. And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to enjoy it as much. So I ended up just playing 1-3 this session, but I wanted to clear that up, that you know, I'm gonna hop around. I've been hopping around, and that's not likely to change anytime soon, unless I maybe, you know, win $1 million or something, win the lottery. Even if I did win the lottery, I'd probably still play 1-2 and 1-3 sometimes. Anyway, let's get into some of the hands. Just a few quick hands from this session. It's actually pretty uneventful, but I did enjoy playing there. Right away when I sat down, I got to meet James and Walter, who watched the vlog, so good to meet you guys. I also chatted a little bit with Jonathan, who was one table over from me, and who came over and asked me about Atlantic City and my plans. So just as a reminder, guys, it might already be going on by the time I post this, but from January 16th to the 26th, I will be in Atlantic City, firing off some events at the Borgata Winter Poker Open. In this hand, there are 2 limps. I make it 15 with red pocket aces from middle position. The small blind makes the call, and he's a pretty tight player from what I've seen. Not really getting out of line, not even really playing that many hands. Early position also calls, and we are off to a flop 3 ways. The flop comes King Jack 4 with 2 clubs, and checks to me. I put out a c-bet of $30, and just the big blind calls, so I do expect him to have mostly King X, Jack X, and some pretty strong draws. The turn's 8 of clubs, and he now just leads into me. Just leads right out for 60. Doesn't even wait for me to check to lead the river, nothing. No wiggle room. It's going to put me in a weird spot right away. So immediately my first thought is going to be that he probably got there. It seems unlikely he would turn any hands into bluffs if he had like queen of clubs and a jack, or if he had a king. Like, he's just not going to lead out here. It's possible he could take this line with, say, like a set or 2 pair because he's worried about a 4th club coming out. If I check back the turn, that's pretty valid too, but again, I lose to all those hands too. So pretty much just feeling like I can't really have the best hand, don't really have a good way of improving, and sometimes when I improve, I'll have the second best hand. So I just decided to let it go. Not my favorite spot to fold, but I think it's probably going to be the right move overall, and I certainly have some better hands to call with. I can have sets, I can have aces with the ace of clubs, I can have 2 pair, and ultimately I can have some flushes already too. So I just let it go, and he's going to take that one down. In this hand, early position opens to $12. He's been pretty active, so I don't necessarily narrow him down to kind of a typical range here. I ended up calling with King Queen offsuit in middle position. The big blind also calls, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes Jack 9 deuce with 2 hearts. The big blind leads out for $10. Early position just calls. This is a spot where I don't really expect any to be all that strong. When the big blind leads for just 1/3 of the pot on this kind of board, he might have top pair, he might have some kind of draw, but I don't think he's going to be all that nutted all that often. And I think early position is usually going to be in a similar place too. I would expect him to raise a lot of his value hands here. It's possible he's got slow play jack sometimes, or pocket nine, something like that. But I think most of the time it's going to be something a little bit weaker. So I decided to actually put out a raise here. I go to $60 and big blind ends up folding pretty quickly. Under the gun, however, puts us in a weird spot and jams. He jams for 115 more, and I really don't like the spot. I think pretty often he's going to have a set. He's going to have aces, something like that, where he just played it a little bit weird. But ultimately, I did end up making the call. The turn was the 3 of hearts, and the river is an offsuit 10. So we get there, and he does show us pocket nines, so he did play his set kind of cagey. Ended up trapping us, but we're going to get there this time. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. In this hand, I opened ace-jack of hearts in early position to $12. The guy who I just stacked in that previous hand is in the big blind and ends up going all in for 62. Comes back around to me now, and I really don't love the spot. I find it kind of unlikely that he's jamming a lot of substantially worse hands than mine. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I'm getting pretty close to the right price, and I generally want to be someone who's kind of just giving action here. If he does show up with, you know, a huge hand, okay, I think he's going to be jamming fairly wide. Definitely a lot of pocket pairs, so I'll be flipping reasonably often. So I do ultimately make the call, and the board runs out king 9 deuce with 2 hearts, queen of spades, giving me a gut shot to go with it, 3 of clubs, and he shows ace queen. So not going to get there. Kind of a tease of a board run out, if anything, but obviously he had us a little bit crushed this time, and he's going to take it down. Ended up being a pretty uneventful session, but did manage to book my 3rd win of 2018, plus $3. So no promo money for me, despite the crazy $500 every 15 minutes, and actually lots of promos were hitting on my table specifically. I think it hit 5 times while I was there, and twice to the same guy on my immediate right. So it was a fun table to play at, but I definitely wish I could have gotten some of that promo money for myself. It's been a little bit of a drought so far. Not a ton of really interesting hands that happened. I definitely didn't think I was gonna break any records, and this isn't the record I thought I might break. But I did book a win. I did book a win today, and the record I broke was for smallest winning session in 2018 thus far, plus $3. For the most part, I just didn't really make any value hands, so it was kind of a miracle that I actually won. Always better than booking a big loss. Don't really mind having a pretty much break-even session sometimes. So 2018's been kind of weird so far, but I'm going to Atlantic City in just a few days. Yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment telling me what you thought, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe and hit that bell icon. That way you'll get notifications when I post new videos. Here's to an above average 2018. Let's keep pushing it. Let's see how many wins we can string together here. I'll see you guys in the next video.